Hi everyone, it's great to see you. Today I'm going to be planting some clematis vines. Now clematis are a perennial vine that get big showy flowers on them. They are absolutely beautiful. And I, as you know, just put up this new obelisk and I want to train some clematis to climb it. So I'm going to show you exactly how you plant a clematis because it's a little different than some of your other plants. So I have my baby clematis here. I have 4 of them. I have 2 of the bright pink Tekla and I have 2 Jackmanii Superba. Now the Tekla just came out this year. It's a 2022 clematis. It has big 6-inch bright pink flowers and gets to be about 6 feet tall. The Jackmanii Superba, lots of you have probably heard of the Jackmanii before. This is the new and improved Jackmanii. It actually now blooms slightly bigger blossom with the Jackmanii Superba, about 5 to 6 inches across. And it's supposed to have more profuse flowers. This one gets to be about 6 to 8 feet tall. So here's Jackmanii, the original. This is one that I have grown in the past, and you can see that the petals are rather thin. The Jackmanii Superba supposedly has fatter petals, more rounded petals, and that overall the flower is larger and the plant is more prolific. However, I loved the old version, so I'm really excited to grow the new version. It'll even be better. That's terrific. When you're planting these nice little plants, the first thing you do is take them out, and this is a 2-year-old clematis. So you can really see how it has quite a root system here, enough so that I can't really pop it out easily. So I'm going to sort of cut the pot off from around it because I want to keep those roots intact the best I can. Okay, let's see if that will help. There we go. Now with, ooh, I almost fell over. Now with a lot of your plants, what you do is you put them in the ground and you put the dirt right up to where they were in the pot. But with a clematis, it's different. You actually go up 1 or 2 leaf nodes, that's sets of leaves, and bury those first 2 sets of leaves. And your plant will actually sprout out from that underneath and you'll end up with a bushier, stronger plant. So don't be afraid to sink these deeper into the earth. I don't think I put it deep enough in there. Let's try again. Nice and deep. So I have the 4 clematis planted, and I don't know if you were able to see or not, but when you actually bury them deeper and you cover those first 2 sets of leaves, you don't have to pick the leaves off. Like, just bury the leaves in there. They will decompose in the ground, and that's absolutely fine. So I set them in the best that I could. I forgot to put any biotone in, so I sprinkled that on top because I always plant my plants, even if it's fall, with biotone. Now here it is fall. They'll have a little bit of time to set some roots, and then it'll really be next spring that we're looking at these guys to come back. There are 3 different types of clematis that you need to be aware of, 3 different pruning groups of clematis. And if you are planting multiple clematis together, you want to make sure that you have the same kind of pruning needs together. So these clematis all happen to be group 3 clematis for pruning, which means they bloom off of new growth. That means each year I actually can cut these down to about 1 to 3 feet tall, and then that year they'll put up their growth from 6 to 8 feet, new growth, and they'll bloom on that new growth. It means they bloom a little later in the summer because they do all that growing in that year. You wouldn't want to plant a category 1 or 2 pruning type of clematis with them, because those types of clematis you don't want to prune down like that, and they'd get all intertwined and it would be really hard to cut these down as far as you need to. So for these particular clematis each year, I'm going to cut them down to about a foot tall. So now I'm going to plant 2 more clematis. These are both Charmaine clematis. They have sort of a maroonish color, and these are pruning group 2. So they bloom off of the old wood that's put on this year and new wood. So you don't really want to trim this one down too much, except for pruning out any dead pieces that you see. I'm going to put it in with my rose. Clematis make a great companion plant for roses, especially this type that you're not going to be pruning as much. Good thing this is a thornless rose here. And I'm just going to, oops, I need my spade. Thought that was looser dirt. Once again, doesn't matter what pruning group it is, you want to plant so that those first couple leaf nodules are underground. Here we go, really bury it right in. So for this little guy, he just has one little set of leaves peeking out, and I'll do the same with the other. So here's our second plant. Ooh, this one's a dry one. And we're going to bury it nice and deep. Okay, now with all of these clematis, next spring I'll probably run either a little line of wire here or a very thin little piece of wood, bamboo, so that it trains itself to catch on to that and grow towards the area that I want to climb up. And I forgot to put in the biotone, which is not a sponsor, but which I want to make sure that I add in. So you can always sprinkle it around and work it in a little bit around the top. There we go. Clematis like to be moist, but not sitting in water. It needs to be well-drained water, a well-drained area that you water frequently, but don't let it just sit there. They would not like a boggy area or a place that really has that water sitting around their roots. So the clematis are planted, they will overwinter. Now when you initially plant your clematis, you might need to protect them from rabbits, from little animals that want to either just explore the freshly churned up ground, or they like to nibble on the new growth of these plants. So you can take like a screen or something and sort of wrap around where your clematis is, or some type of protection, a cloche over the top of them, just while they're really young, to make sure that they're not eaten right away. So that is something that I will be doing. You also might have heard that some clematis suffer from clematis wilt. So clematis wilt is a type of fungus that your clematis can get. There really is no treatment for it. The good thing is clematis wilt does not actually kill the plant. So it looks like it's killing the plant. You would notice that your clematis is growing nicely, and then starting at the top, it would turn brown and the leaves would drop, and eventually it would go and die all the way down. The roots would still be okay. If that happens to you, it's sad, but you don't panic. You want to cut off the part that's turned brown and wilted, dispose of that separately because that does have the fungus in it, and then it will come back again. The difference between clematis wilt and not having enough water is that if your clematis doesn't have enough water, it starts to brown from the bottom going up. So you'll be able to tell that way. Clematis wilt is a common problem though. So you want to make sure when you purchase your clematis initially that you don't see any signs of clematis wilt, that any of the ends are brown and shriveled up looking, because in a nursery that can spread pretty quickly. You want to make sure that you're at least bringing home your clematis without the clematis wilt to begin with. These all look fabulous. So I think we have a really good start here. But remember, if you do get clematis wilt, it's not your fault. Just clear it up. Don't worry about it. Your clematis will revive again. I hope you give a clematis a try because they are such beautiful, spectacular flowers when you find the right place and you get them really growing. And I just picture this trellis just encased with these 4 glorious vines of clematis, these 2 deep purple, the 2 bright pink. It will be spectacular, and it's totally worth the wait, even if it's 2 to 3 years, totally worth the wait. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.